gives Vastu consultations, and he is also teaching simplified Kundalini Yoga. I have been his student. It's a phenomenal experience attending classes with him. So I request everybody to subscribe to our YouTube channel where there is a lot of information, and we'll be posting future webinars also which are getting recorded here. With this, I welcome Krish Murli Ishwar to take over the show and throw insights on astrology, and we are all eager to learn.
Thank you for inviting me, Veena. Thank you for Pyramid Times. Thank you all for joining us for this wonderful evening session on simplified astrology. Now, why am I calling simplified astrology? So let me just quickly open a chart for you to see how easy is astrology actually. So this is a sample chart of a horoscope. As you can see, this is a South Indian chart, which I'm hoping that all of you are comfortable seeing a South Indian chart. I'm very comfortable seeing South Indian chart. I'm also comfortable with East Indian or North Indian, but South Indian I find is the simplest way to understand astrology. So this is a South Indian chart. The natural zodiac is the second box in the first row. So this is the sign of Aries. Always, for all human beings in the South Indian chart, the second box in the first row is always Aries. The third box, the next box in the clockwise direction is Taurus, and then Gemini, then comes Cancer, then comes Leo, then comes Virgo, then comes Virgo, then comes Libra, then comes Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. So these are the 12 natural zodiacs that we are talking about. Okay. Now, this is fixed. These 12 zodiacs never change for any human beings. Having said that, this is like a graph sheet. So imagine in your max examination, max class, the max teacher has given you an empty graph sheet. Now, in this empty graph sheet, you have to now plot the 12 bhavas and the 9 planets. The way to do this is first to identify where the Lagna Bhava starts. The Lagna Bhava is nothing else but the ascendant. What is an ascendant? In this example, Sun is posited in Virgo at 4 degree 35 degree minutes in Uttara Palguni star. So in whichever city you are in, let us say you are in Secunderabad or in Hindpur or wherever you are, when the sun ascends early in the morning in the eastern horizon, along with it, a natural zodiac will ascend. That natural zodiac will be Virgo in this particular case, if sun happens to be in the same place. Today, sun is in Sagittarius. In about a day or two, it will move into Capricorn. In 2021, January 12th, I'm talking about. So the Lagna Bhava at the time of sunrise will be posited in and around where sun is posited in. So in this case, this particular child was born about 4 hours after the sunrise. So around 10:15, the child was born. And hence, the Lagna Bhava is plotted in Scorpio at 3 degree 19 degree minutes, 60 degree seconds. Degree has 60 minutes, 1 minute has 60 seconds, degree minutes, similar to our minute and seconds, but this is degree minutes, degree seconds. Now, from there, usually 30 degrees after that is the second bhava, but you will find the Lagna Bhava in this example starting at 319 in Scorpio, but the second bhava is starting at 216 in Sagittarius. So don't fret and don't worry about this. And this is because of the position of the earth and the position of where this child was born. The child was born in the northern hemisphere, so the earth is somewhat tilted, and it keeps tilting up and down. There's the equinox of southern equinox, the northern equinox, it keeps going up and down. So we have winter, summer, so sun comes up, sun goes down. So this gets adjusted. And also the sun is going in a, earth is going around the sun in an elliptical path. So this ayanamsa is calculated, which is nothing else but an ephemeris, like a panchang. And there is a trigonometric calculation sheet that our forefathers have created. Today there are software, so you don't have to worry about it. So all the 12 bhavas get plotted similarly. Approximately 30 degrees away from where the Lagna bhava is the second bhava, and where the third 30 degrees away from there in Capricorn at 204 is third bhava. Approximately 30 degrees away from there in Aquarius is the fourth bhava starting point. Now, what is this bhava? The earth is in the center. We see the planetary system, we see the stars, we see the sky, and the sky envelops us 360 degrees. What our forefathers have done is to study this 360-degree arc and come to a conclusion that every 30 degrees there is a cusp. That means a bhava is ending, another bhava is starting. So what they decided was, when these two bhavas are ending, this is called as the cusp. The cusp starting position is studied to be very powerful and determines various aspects of your life. Lagna bhava starting position defines your personality, your individual effort, your individual success, etc. Second bhava defines your new addition to the family members, wealth, assets, and things like that. The third bhava denotes your younger brothers and sisters, your uncles, your the ability to write, ability to use your brain, and etc. etc. Fourth bhava defines your agriculture, land, mother, home, homeland, car, bike, scooter, etc. Fifth house is your children, sports, your talents, music, etc. and your pleasurable pursuits. Sixth house is your job, your disease, your income, etc. Seventh house denotes your enemies, your customers, and also your life partner. Look at how beautiful this is, right? So we say that number one critique of our for us is our life partner. It is true astrologically also. Your enemy and your life partner is defined by the seventh bhava. Eighth bhava defines your accidents, danger to life, and mode of death, and also unearned income, and income through through pensions, and income through your stock market, share market, speculative income, things like that. Ninth house is your father, guru, long distance travel, inventive ideas, etc. 10th bhava defines your profession and your name and fame and public service, politics, etc. 11th bhava defines your success, your friends, your ability to convert all your actions into results and get fulfillment in your life, etc. 12th bhava is foreign travel, is a yoga practice, is seclusion from life, even prison, imprisonment, or hidden enemies, or hidden things like smuggling and things like that, or terrorist activity and antisocial activity. All these are seen from the 12th bhava. So they have studied this. Fair enough. So the 12 bhavas get easily plotted because the softwares are available today. Now, what about the 9 planets? How do we plot them? The sun comes to exactly the same location on every day of the year in a yearly cycle. Moon comes to exactly the same location at once in 28 and a half days, about approximately 29 days it goes around the earth. So that means it has to come to the same location once a month approximately. Mercury takes about 88 days to go around the sun. So wherever sun goes, Mercury goes around with it. And once it crosses 30 degrees beyond where sun is, for instance, in this particular example, sun is posited in 4 degree, 35 degree minutes in Virgo, and Mercury is posited in 28 degree, 25 degree minutes in Virgo. The moment there is a difference, there is only a difference of about 25 degrees, 24 degrees between sun and Mercury, but Mercury will go travel fast. It'll go a further 4 degrees away from sun, and then it will retrograde. It'll come back. It'll appear to go in anti-clockwise. It doesn't actually go anti-clockwise. In this chart, for instance, Mars is in retrogradation. Saturn is in retrogradation. That doesn't mean that it is going anti-clockwise. Seen from where we are, seen from Hyderabad, Secunderabad, India, Earth, Saturn and Mars and Mercury and Venus and Jupiter, these 5 planets appear to go anti-clockwise. Sun will never go anti-clockwise. Moon will never go anti-clockwise. Rahu, Ketu are always anti-clockwise. So therefore, it is not considered Vakri. It is not considered Vakra or retrograde at any given point of time. They don't change their direction of movement. So Mercury takes 88 days, Venus takes 225 days, Moon takes 29 days, and Mars takes about 22 months. Jupiter takes about 12 years. Saturn takes about approximately 30 years. Rahu Ketu takes approximately about 18 years to go around the natural zodiac. So these function in a precise manner. It never changes. Tomorrow morning, the sun will not wake up and say, I'm a little bored today. Why can't I take a break? And I don't want to, come up today. Let me come 1 hour later. That is human being. Sun will not do it. Sun will rise precisely. So even after thousands of years, it is possible to predict sitting today what time the sun will rise in Secunderabad, Hyderabad, Hindupur, wherever you are. And hence, every planet's movements are precisely calculatable according to an ephemeris panchang, according to a particular Ayanamsa calculation. So this is also now automated. Earlier, it used to take us at least 45 minutes, 1 hour to actually draw out a chart. But now with the press of a button in 45 seconds, you're actually getting a chart in your hand. So this gets plotted. Actually, if you go up and see in a not so bright city lights, in a village kind of an environment, when the city is pretty dark, then you can actually spot some of these planets in the natural sky. They don't blink. So imagine in the past, our rishis and saints have sat together in the same location to sit and observe precisely where these planets are moving, and over hundreds of years of hard work, through generations of hard work, they have studied and precisely brought out a calculation which predicts where these planets will be posited at any given point of time. So now we have plotted the bhavas, we have plotted the planets. So this is an example of a chart where we are saying that there are 9 planets and there are 12 zodiacs. All right, 12 zodiacs, and there are 12 bhavas. The zodiacs never change, so they are all there in this particular chart. Now, how do we predict? Should we predict based on the Rasi? Should we predict based on the Lagna? Should we predict based on the Rasi Lord? Should we predict based on the stars? Should we predict based on the star lords? How do we predict? How do we know how this functions? How do we decide for ourselves whether we should take up a job, or whether we should get married, whether we should invest in a car or a bike or go abroad, or should we should we study astrology? Will we become successful? Let's take this example. Will we become successful? Let us say this person whose chart is now shared with you is coming and asking me, sir, I have an ambition to achieve. Will I achieve it? Will I be successful in my life? Success, as you know, is seen from the 11th bhava, as I have already told you at the start of this class. So let me go and study what the 11th bhava cusp is saying. Cusp means 10th bhava is ending and the 11th bhava is starting, which happens to be at 5 degree, 45 degree minutes in the sign of Virgo. And at this location, the cusp is ruled by 3 planets. The 3 planets are the sign lord, which happens to be Mercury, because Virgo is always ruled by Mercury. You don't have to remember it. When you keep doing this again and again, it's very easy for you to remember it. Then at this location, the stars, see this, the natural sky that you see up there has got millions of stars, but they have been classified into 27 star constellation: Ashwini, Bharani, Kartikai, Rohini, Mrigashirisha, Arudra, Punarvasu, Pushya, Aslesha, and so on, all the way up to Revati. So the 12 zodiacs are Mesham, Rishabham, Midunam, Kadagam, Simbham, Kanni, Tulam, Virishigam, Dhanasam, Magaram, Kumbham, Meenam, from Aries to Pisces. So the 12 zodiacs are ruled by a planet at any given point of time. And this is fixed. It doesn't change for anybody. The stars are also ruled by certain planets. What does it mean by star lords and sign lords? Very simple. Stars are huge. They are far away from us. The sun itself is a star. It is about 9 crore miles away from the earth. But like our sun, there are millions of suns around the universe. They are called as stars. And these stars are a lot bigger than our sun, and they send out magnetic waves. When they send out magnetic waves, they cannot directly come to our earth. They require a transporter, a tenant, a agent, and that agent happens to be the 9 planets. For instance, in this 11th bhava, the nakshatra is Uttara Palguni at 5 degree 45 degree minutes. So 27 stars, 12 zodiac houses, 360 degrees. So roughly every 13 degree 20 degree minutes, and there is a star that is ruling in the sky. Having said that, the signals from this Uttara Palguni is received by Mercury and transmitted to us. So the sign lord for Virgo is Mercury. The sign lord of Uttara Palguni is received by Sun. So star lord is basically Sun for Nakshatra Uttara Palguni. I had erroneously said Mercury. No, the sign lord for Virgo is Mercury. The star lord for Uttara Palguni is Sun. So Sun receives the magnetic waves from Uttara Palguni and transmits to Earth. What we are interested is the sublord. Now, this is where it gets simplified. I'll tell you why. Because before Professor Krishnamurthy's times, the predictions were based on sign, that is Rasi, and stars. Now, star prediction was nebulous. It was not well developed. It wasn't well understood by anybody. It was there, but it was not accurately given by anyone else. Professor Krishnamurthy, a genius who was born and who lived during the 20th century in Chennai and traveled all over the world, sat and studied both Indian astrological system and Western astrological system and arrived at a very simple yet highly accurate and predictable calculation of a subdivision of a star. A star, as I told you, spans for 13 degree, 20 degree minutes. But these 13 degree, 20 degree minutes are further subdivided into 9 subdivisions. Each of the subdivisions, he calculated it to be ruled by a specific planet. So in Virgo, there are two underquarter stars, Uttara Palguni, then the next star, Hastam, and then Chitra. Chitra, first two quarters are there, and in Uttara Palguni, last three quarters are there. Hasta, the full four quarters are sitting in that. So that becomes 30-degree span. But in that, in Uttara Palguni, this subdivision of the 11th bhava starting point happens to fall under the sublord of Mercury. Great, simple. So 11th bhava sublord is Mercury. Write it down in a piece of paper. 11th. Now we are trying to predict whether the person will be successful in life. What is the 11th bhava sublord? Mercury. Great. We have written it down. Now, Mercury is in the star of Chitra, which happens to be Mars owned. So, Mercury is sitting in 28 degree, 25 degree minutes in Virgo. At which location? The nakshatra that is ruling at this point is Chitra star. Now, Chitra star is the owner, the lord of that particular star is Mars. Now, Mars owns Scorpio, which means the signals from the zodiac of Scorpio is received by Mars and handed over to Mercury. Mercury then hands it over to the 11th bhava. So where Mars is posited, that particular benefit is passed on to the 11th house. So Lagna Bhava's benefit gets passed on to the 11th Bhava because Mars is the sign lord of Lagna. And Mercury is sitting in the star of Mars. And Mars also happens to be sitting in Aries at 3 degree, 9 degree minutes, at which location it is closely conjunct with the 6th Bhava. 6th bhava is also sitting in Aries. So Aries is Mars' own sign or Rasi. Scorpio is Mars' own Rasi. And Mars is sitting in Aries. So Mars is a strong significator of the 6th house. 6th house is the house of income. First house is the house of own effort. What was the question asked by this person? He came and asked us, Sir, I have an ambition. Will I succeed? 100% this person will succeed. There is no ambiguity in this at all. Definitely the person will succeed. But there is a problem here. Even though Mars is signifying Lagna and 6, Mars is retrograde. If this happens to be the birth chart of the person, you don't have to worry. Today, if Mars is direct, then results will come. If Mars is retrograde, then once Mars becomes direct, definitely results will come for this person. This is it. That's all. You have learned astrology. It is as simple as that. Just for you to understand, I have actually a few more charts. So let me just go through each one of them. Now, in this chart, Saturn is transiting through Capricorn. In fact, even today, Saturn is in Capricorn, in the natural zodiac in the sky. Now, this means, according to what is called as the traditional astrology system in India, Sagittarius born Rasi. So if your moon happens to be in one of these Sagittarius stars, such as the Mula Nakshatra or Purvashada or Uttarashada, etc., then certainly you are having 7.5 years of Saturn running. Things will delay, things will have problems, etc., etc. Now, also, Since Saturn is sitting in Capricorn, people whose Janma Rasi, that is where moon was posited in Uttarashada or Shravana Nakshatra or Avitta Dhanishta Nakshatra, then they also will have 7.5 years of Saturn. Not only that, those who are born in Aquarius Rasi, that is, those who are born in Dhanishta and Sadabhisha Nakshatra and Purvabhadra Bada's first 3 quarters, that is, they're all born in Aquarius sign, they also will have 7.5 years of Saturn. That means what? There are only 12 Rasis from Aries to Pisces at any given point of time. People who are born in 3 rasis, that is 1/4 of the world's population, is going through Sade Sat Sani. Can it be really true? Isn't it foolish to believe this system that everybody goes through 7.5 years of Saturn twice or thrice in their lifetime? There is no need for you to believe anything like that. Then people will say, no, sir, 2-3 times it comes, second times it'll actually do it very well, third time it'll make you fall. It's absolute foolishness, because if you actually want to look at it like that, the whole of 2020, the whole world went through Sade Sat Sani. Did any astrologer predict that? Not possible. So it is clearly not to be believed in. So please ignore it. Relax yourself. There is nothing called as 7.5 years of Saturn. You don't have to worry about that Yedaranatan Sani at all. There is only one dosha that you need to really be concerned about. It is called as Punarpu dosha. There is no truth that has been studied and proven in any other dosha or any other yoga, Raja Yoga, that yoga, this yoga. There is no such truth that has been scientifically proven in this world. There is also no proof behind any of the doshas except the Punarpu dosha that we have studied, as over thousands of horoscopes that we have studied. Punarpu dosha is when Saturn and Moon are conjunct together, or Saturn is in Moon star, Moon is in Saturn star, and Sun is not benefic enough to cancel these aspects. And therefore, Saturn will not deny if someone has a dosha of Punarpu. It will only delay matters, particularly marriage may get delayed. After 33 years, the person may get married, or person may have child after 33 years or 40 years, or even after 60 years, it is possible that somebody may have a child. Very rare cases. But anyway, Punarpu dosha is the only dosha that you need to worry about or be concerned about. Study it, again, nothing to be worried about. That's your destiny. So accept it and do what you need to do to overcome that in your life.
What's the effect of Saturn and Mars together in the third house, please?
Don't have to really be concerned about it at all. It depends on what is the star of this particular planet sitting in. What is a star lord and what is the signification of the star lord, and which houses these two planets are connecting to. Otherwise, there is really no specific signification of conjunction of two planets in any single house. So that's another good news. We don't have to worry about it at all. Another good news I want to give you, there is nothing called as Mangalik dosha. So Sevai dosham is something that you don't have to worry about at all. It doesn't, there is no scientific basis, there is no truth in Mangalik dosha. So you don't have to worry about it at all. Just ignore and move on in life. I know many Mangalik couples who have been successfully married, who have children, whose children are prosperous in their life. So how does one explain that?
Can charity reduce karmic effects?
Certainly, it will help to cleanse your karma. When you, more than the charity, if you are able to do good for those who you have hurt in your life, that is the greatest cleanser in your life. if you have hurt your husband or wife or children, if you go say sorry to them, and if you compensate them for the hurt or the pain or the loss that they have suffered, that will help remove your sin imprints from your genetic center. Going and putting a motte in Tirupati temple and coming back home and hurting your wife or hurting your children is the most foolish thing you can ever do in your life. Or go and get corrupt and be corrupt and take some bribe or illegally earn some money and donate some 50% of that, 30% of that to Tirupati temple is another foolish thing. Venkatachalapati is not going to help you remove the karmic karma. So stop doing any hurtful activities. Think good, speak good, do good, and try to remove the pain of and misery of others, and never cause pain for you or others now or in the future, physically or mentally. That alone will help you to remove your karmic imprints. All right, so let's take another example chart. I have selected a few more charts. Let's say somebody comes to us and says, sir, I want to know if I will get married. Will I have a happy marriage? What do I do? We talked about seventh house defining the life partner. So you take the seventh house immediately. The seventh bhava starting point, where the sixth bhava is ending, the seventh bhava starting is at 29 degree, 13 degree minutes, 19 degree seconds in Aquarius. But we are interested in the sublord. The sublord of the seventh bhava is Sun. But Sun is not going to give its natural results, but Sun will give the benefit of the star and therefore the star lord signification. Sun is sitting at 20 degree 58 degree minutes in Leo in Purva Palguni, and Purva Palguni is owned by Venus. The star lord is Venus, and now whatever Venus says, Sun will do. Sun becomes the agent or the tenant of Venus. So what the house owner says, the tenant must listen to. So what is the house owner saying? Venus is saying, hey, look, I am transiting in Cancer at 6 degree 54 degree minutes, at which location I am actually sitting in the 11th bhava, the house of fulfillment, not in the 12th bhava. Many of you may get slightly confused by seeing this. This is another simplification done by Professor K.S. Krishnamurti. This Venus is at 6 degree 54 degree minutes. So this is like you are in Hyderabad, okay? And 12th bhava starting point is at 28 degree 59 degree minutes. This is like, say, Bangalore city. Now from 6 degree 54 degree minutes, how can we judge that Venus is sitting in the 12th bhava? In a traditional astrology system, these degree calculations are never done. They will just write saying that, okay, number 12 in Cancer, and they will put Venus also next to Cancer, next to this 12th bhava, and say, okay, Venus is sitting in the 12th bhava. The most foolish thing to do. Venus will not sitting in the 12th bhava. It is sitting in the 11th bhava, which is the house of fulfillment. So 100% this person will get married, and it will be a happy, fulfilling marriage. One of those rare charts where you actually see a happy married couple. This is such a chart. Let's go to another example for you to understand. I have another few more examples. Let's say the person got married and says, sir, will I get a child? How do you see a child? Childbirth is seen from the fifth bhava. Now, fifth bhava in this chart is starting at 1 degree, 10 degree minutes in Virgo. And at this location, the cuspal sublord is Rahu. Rahu is posited in the 12th bhava in the house of Aries at 15 degree 34 degree minutes in the star of Bharani. So Rahu becomes the tenant of Bharani. So Bharani is the owner of this particular location. Bharani is sending its magnetic signals to Venus. So the star lord of Bharani is Venus. So whatever Venus says, Rahu will do. So even though Rahu is in the 12th bhava, you do not have to conclude that the person will have serious problem in health or hospitalization and things like that, because Rahu is not Rahu in this chart. Rahu becomes Venus. What does Venus say? Venus says, look, I am sitting in Virgo. I am sitting in 23 degree 52 degree minutes, and at this location I am sitting in the house of children, which is the fifth bhava in Virgo. So therefore, please bless this native of a happy male child. And that is really what happened to this person. This person came to me about a few years ago, and I predicted that she will have a male child. And the child is now, I think, about 3.5, 4 years old. Very happy family, very, very happy child indeed. All right. So let's go to another chart. Let's say the person comes and says, sir, will I have any major illness? How do you predict major illnesses? Very simple. So you take this chart like this and you study the sixth bhava. Sixth bhava is starting at 20 degree minutes, 0 1 degree seconds in Aquarius. We are interested in the sublord. Sublord is Jupiter. Now Jupiter is sitting in 23, 27, 42 in Sagittarius in the star of Purva Shada. Purva Shada is owned by Venus. So Jupiter becomes the tenant of Venus. So what Venus says, Jupiter will definitely decide and do. Now Venus says, look, I am sitting in the 11th bhava, which is an improving bhava. So Venus is sitting in 22 degrees, 29 degree minutes in Cancer, at which location it is sitting in the 11th bhava. So 11th bhava is improvement. If the 6th house signifies, connects with 5th bhava, which is the house of health, and 11th bhava, which is the house of fulfillment and improvement, certainly the person will not have any major illness and will enjoy good health for a long, long time. So the person is not going to be ill, will not going to be hospitalized in life, and perhaps even do some yoga and prevent diseases. As you can see, Venus owns Taurus, at which star, which Rasi, ninth bhava is sitting. Ninth bhava is yoga, so meditation and prayer and worship and things like that. So certainly the person is not going to be ill at all. Okay, let's say somebody comes and says, sir, can I have an agricultural land? Can I invest in real estate, or can I invest in agricultural land, own it? Will I make money out of it? Land investment is seen from the fourth bhava. Now, fourth bhava starts at 29 degree, 42 degree minutes in Scorpio. The sublord is Saturn. Saturn is retrograde, but you don't have to worry about Saturn retrogradation. It will only delay matter. It will not deny. Usually Saturn never denies. But let us see if Saturn's star, what does it say? Nakshatra of Saturn is Uttarashada, and the lord of Uttarashada is Sun, and Sun is sitting in Virgo at 7 degree 30 degree minutes, at which location it is not sitting in the second bhava. As I already gave you an example, sun is at 7 degree 30 degree minutes, and second bhava is at 29 degree 29 degree minutes, a good 22 degrees away from each other. So we must conclude that Sun is sitting in the first bhava. Not only that, the Lagna bhava is owned by Sun. Leo is a Rasi owned by the sign lord of Sun. So Sun is a very strong significator of the first bhava. So 4 equal to 1. Fourth house sublord Saturn in Uttarashada star. Star lord is Sun. Sun is in the first bhava. Sun owns Lagna bhava, which is Leo. So therefore, 100% the person can own lands, and that too agricultural lands. Now you see, I am not going by the natural disposition of or natural characteristics of the planets, but I'm going by the sublords, star lord signification. The stars are a lot more powerful than the planets. Let's go to one more. The person says, sir, I would like to go abroad for education. Can I go abroad for education? This is the last chart that I'm going to share with you before we go to how you can learn to become an astrologer in less than probably just 6 weeks to 8 weeks. I guarantee you it's very easy. Already today, I think you are beginning to get an inclination of how to predict. So the abroad chances are seen from the 12th bhava. Now, 12th bhava starts at 2251 in Scorpio. The sublord is moon. Whenever the sublord happens to be moon, there is some good news waiting. So you should remember that. And moon is sitting in 8 degree, 29 degree minutes in Sagittarius in Mula Nakshatra. The nakshatra lord, the star lord is Ketu. And Ketu is also sitting in Sagittarius at 0002, which happens to be sitting in the 12th bhava, as the Lagna bhava is a good 22 degrees away from where Mulan Ketu planet is sitting in Mula Nakshatra. So therefore, Ketu is sitting in the 12th bhava. Not only that, Ketu being a shadowy planet, it will give the benefit of Jupiter, which is happy to be sitting in the Lagna bhava, and Jupiter owns Pisces, which is owning the 4th bhava, house of education. So 12 equal to 12, 1 and 4. 100% the person can go abroad for education and succeed. I hope this gives you a glimpse of what we are talking about. This is not impossible for you to predict. Let me just quickly go over to the website where you can learn all of this. This is learnastrologyonline.in, and this is where you can learn whatever I have taught you. I have hundreds of videos there. All of these are taken through live classes, and on our own recordings are there, video recordings are there. I will show you each one of this. I have a few courses. I have actually a foundation course, and I have an advanced course. A foundation course is in Tamil and in English, and the advanced course is in English at this point of time. So you pay about 7,919 rupees, and you get enjoy a lifetime subscription of the foundation course. There is also an option for you to pay on a monthly basis. You can, the monthly basis is simply because I want you to have a monthly installment. So you can pay 6 monthly installment, and then you can enjoy a lifetime subscription for this. Now, let me show you what you will get inside the course. So this is an example that of a user that I have created for myself for demonstrating to you. So I'm just going to show you what you will get in this course. So you will get a whole lot of stuff, from what is astrology to branches of astrology and planets and things like that. Let's just click on start course. Now you can see I have given you links to a whole lot of free astrology software, and out of which the one that most of my students use is KP Star 1, which is free. And Astro Sage is also free, which is available on a mobile app as well. You can try both of them. And you will get a 30-minute direct appointment with me. You can just send out a mail to my email ID, and I will set up a meeting for you, a video call, one-on-one coaching. And in one class, if you're not able to understand, you can have 2 classes or 3 classes with me one-on-one. So I don't charge anything extra for individual coaching. But if you want me to predict for your family, that is a separate activity, that is consulting activity, but never mind. So I have this entire course available in a mobile app. So the mobile app link is seen in this, and you can just click in this and you can install that as well. We also have a Facebook group. You can click in this and you can go to the Facebook group and you can join there and you can have a continued discussion with us. So we have video lessons introduction. We have 9 planet, 12 zodiacs, and each of these, if you click, and you will see the videos playing there. You can watch That's the video that I'm just showing you. Like that, we have zodiac rasis, North Indian chart, South Indian chart, 27 stars, benefic, malefic planets, Rahu star signification with examples, and understanding the bhavas, and then predictions, a bunch of predictions that I have given here just for you to get an understanding. And then all the live classes that we have had several live classes. All of the live classes we have recorded, and these live classes recordings are also available within the course, and I intend to conduct live classes going forward also. And there are, of course, simple KP astrology rules and different planets, and all these text-based information is also available. So you can see it and see how you can look at it. I have shared a whole lot of things for you to take a look at, and I'm sure you can look at it. For instance, a star-wise profession list. This is a huge list of professions, star-wise signification that I have provided. So this document is available for you. So if you want to know if for your son or your daughter, what is the ideal profession, whether should she study engineering, whether should she study, for instance, some other thing like engineering, you will be able to click there and you will be able to see it, and you will be able to predict, and you will be able to guide the child correctly in your life. I tell you, if you want to become a Lakshatipati, you need luck. But if you want to become a crorepati, if you want to become hugely successful, if you want to avoid problems and difficulties, you need an astrologer. The good news is you can become an astrologer. You don't have to struggle, and you don't have to go to an astrologer who will tell you got this dosha, that dosha, you got to do this remedy, you have to build the house, you have to break the house, you have to do that, you have to do this, you have to spend lakhs and lakhs of rupees, crores and crores of rupees, you have to give me money. All that is stupidity, all that is foolishness. I don't want you to believe in any of that. I want you to study this astrology in a scientific, logical, simple manner so that you can enjoy good health, long life, enough wealth, peace, prosperity, fame, and wisdom. Be blessed by the divine. I intend to have regular monthly interaction. Not only that, in our Facebook group, we post regular challenges. We actually tell students, okay, here is a chart. Do you think the person will die of corona, or will the person get recovered from corona? Will the person go abroad? Will the person get married? So you have to sit and predict, and many people predict, and they give you specific answers to it, and we look at those answers and we answer them. We tell them, no, this is the correct answer. The reason for this is this, and this. Reports are always available through WhatsApp. As you know, Veena, I'm easily accessible for many people. All of my students, I'm happy to be available all the time. We have about 250 students right now who has joined my online classes, but yet I give individual attention for those who require it.
So whoever is interested, you can just go ahead and contact Krish Murli Ishwar. Sir's number, sir, you can tell out the number. They can reach out to you directly.
All of the details are there in the website. So if you just simply go over to my website, which I have given you, you can get all the details. My website detail information, everything is sitting there in that particular website. As you can see, you can just go over to my learnastrologyonline.in.
Yes.
And if you go to the, if you go to the footer, I have given you my telephone number right there.